Hi, I'm James from tabletopdungeon.com, and in today's 20-minute terrain tutorial I'm going to show you how to make small explosions for your battlefield. Now these are another great beginner project because anyone can make and paint them, but you get a really dramatic effect that adds a lot of value to your tabletop, I think for very little effort. So these could be used either as a static effect for a diorama, or you could use them in game as, say, vehicle wound markers, perhaps make them with different numbers of shrapnel bits blown off to indicate wound values. They're not just for show, they can also be functional. So on with the tutorial. You're going to need some bases to build on, a little smaller than you want the explosions to be. I've just used some cheapo MDF ones this time. Some cocktail sticks, plastic or wood, doesn't really matter. You can also use wire. I grabbed a bit to experiment with the heavier gauge stuff shown here, but found that was pretty impossible to work with. The smaller stuff was alright though, old paper clips or that sort of thing. I've also used DAS modelling clay on this occasion, but I had luck before with just little offcuts of polystyrene. It's not too important really, just something you can stab the cocktail sticks into because it'll all be covered up later. Finally, you need some foam. Now, this is the most important part. This I've chosen recycled furniture foam for. It's very dense. I like it because the nature of being recycled means you get that variety of textures right out the box. But work with what you've got. Don't go out and buy foam, just check the local dump for some old furniture you might find. This is actually from some discarded soft play kids equipment. You only need a really small amount. So making these is super easy. I started out by adding blobs of DAS clay and just sticking them onto the bases, then wait for those to dry. Then you want to stick the cocktail sticks into those before tearing off chunks of foam and jamming them onto the sticks. I don't think the super glue was necessary, but I used some anyway. If you're working with dense foam like I was, you may find it tricky to force the foam onto the bits at the side, in which case I'd actually recommend putting the foam onto the sticks first, then leave a bit at the end and then stab the sticks into the bases. Now don't worry too much about shaping the shrapnel trails just yet. You can do that once it's all done, then you can go ahead and pick bits off and then use those bits to fill in any gaps. So you're aiming for that sort of roughly ball shape in the middle where the main explosion is, with cones flying off like this. Once that's all dried, I plastered them with a liberal spraying of diluted PVA glue. That should soak in and give it the rigidity we need, fix everything to the base. Then it's on to painting. I used an airbrush, but a rattle can would work too. I just didn't have one to hand. Start with black, and then you'll probably need 2 coats because it'll soak the paint right up and it's really hard to get from every angle. That said, you might prefer to leave some of the original foam showing through if it's this kind of orangey red colour like I have. It kind of looks like burning bits on the inside, so stop when you're happy. Obviously make them yours. After black I went in with some dark grey and then finally a very light grey, and for the light grey I used like a zenithal kind of scheme, spraying from the apex of the shrapnel blasts inwards. Finally I added some very watered down yellows and reds in the central area. Just dab it right on there, it doesn't matter too much, just to show burning on the inside of the thick black smoke really, and that's it, done. Really low effort, but really high impact, I think. So please hit like if you found this tutorial helpful or inspiring. I do hope you have a go yourself, and I'd welcome any feedback or tips in the comments how I can make them look better. Do share your own techniques. Until next time.